Well, hello there, friends. So today what we're doing is probably the easiest RV headboard that we could possibly do, because you can see that the buttons here are held in with screws, and this just gets a top stitch. So all we're going to be doing really is just making a new cover for this guy, so that way we can have him as a happy customer. He said that his head wore through this cheap Chinese vinyl here that started flaking. So he, uses duct tape, right? You've seen that video of mine where duct tape for everything. So anyway, here we go. We're going to be stripping this one down and we will put a new cover on it. The first thing I did was mark the top of the headboard. Top. So that way we know we have the right orientation. Also, where the seams were before is where I'm putting the marks. So we got to put our marks, right? It's always the first thing that we do. That way everything goes back together the way it's supposed to. So I thought what I would do before I take the cover off is go ahead and lay the new material down. So let's see, what did he get here? This is what he got. Right there. Ostrich tan. So it's an ostrich pattern. So what I thought I would do is just go ahead and lay this ostrich vinyl over the top. And then we can just make our pattern right on that. Make sure there's plenty of overlap all the way around. We got way too much material here. My trick here for this video is, that's where the original line was sewn right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a mark right there. I'm going to do that all the way around. Let's see, where was this one? Okay, there it is. Right there. Right there. Alright, got everything marked up with my trusty China marker. Now let's get this thing stripped down with a staple puller. Just pull out some staples. Somebody in China wanted to make sure that this cover wasn't going to come flying off all by itself. So what they did is they put like way more than what's required for staples. So I'm going to do this all the way around. So I'm going to make some reference marks on this foam just in case if I need them later. Because he's using these 4 outer screws here are going to be mounting onto the RV. So I got to keep those where they are. I don't want to move the holes on my customer. I want to make it as easy as possible for him. I'm going to be using the 1/4 inch scrim for the backing on this. So what is 1/4 inch scrim, you might be asking? So I'm going to show you here in a second. So what that is, it's a foam with a fabric backing. Just like that. You can see the fabric backing right there. So anyway, this is the best one that money can buy. I don't go cheap on my customers. You could probably use any kind of a 1/4 inch foam with, but if you're going to sew on it, you should probably have some kind of a fabric backing. Now for technique number 32 is whenever you get a new material on a roll like this, always pull out your square. Okay, because just because they cut it doesn't mean that they cut it square. So what I do is I take my square, take my straight edge, and look at that. Not square. So we're going to make it square. There we go. I'm just going to cut out the size piece that I need. So I know in another video I said I never use yellow chalk, but I guess this time I gotta. So what I need is some kind of a visual where the lines are going to be. So that's where the yellow chalk's going to come in. Because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be backing this with the foam, and I'm just going to be putting glue on the line because I want the vinyl in the middles. I want the vinyl to float with no glue, because if I have to, if there's wrinkles, I'll be able to take out the wrinkles with a heat gun. Now I'm going to center the foam on the vinyl, because we're actually going to be doing measuring here. So what I'm seeing there is 3.5. Oh, I nailed it, 3.5. What are the chances of that happening? Okay, so this one here is 3.5 by 3.5. Look at that. Don't believe me? I'm amazed here. Okay, let's do the same with this one. See if I get as lucky. So it's just under 4 inches on that side. Oh my God, it's 4 inches on that side. I swear I didn't stage that. That really happened. Okay, so now that we have it centered, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Sharpie here and I'm going to mark it. That way I know where it's going to lay down again. In this case, I'm just marking the 4 corners. Like that. So I'm going to put the glue only on the vinyl side. I'm not going to put it on the foam side, because I don't want it to stick too well. So I'm doing the half and half method here, where we're just spraying the one half, and then later we'll spray the other half. See, by doing that, it rested back in the same original spot again. No guessing. I'm just going to press it down, try to get some of that glue to stick onto the foam. Okay, now let's do the other side. Okay, we want the glue wet. We don't want the glue to dry because we want it to stick to the foam. So lay it down. Goes back to its original position, like we said before. And now we're going to press down on the glue to transfer some of that wet glue to the foam. So now we could just start sewing it up. Now that it's time for the install, we're going to go ahead and center it again. We're going to lay it down where it belongs this time, for the final time. Make sure all my lines line up. Got those lines right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that one there where it's supposed to be. Just need one. We'll flip it around. This time I'm going to pull that seam. That's where we get our tension. Pull the seam. Go ahead and pull on this one a little bit. Try to get any wrinkles out. Well, this is really hard to do. There's nothing to hold on to here. The other reason that we're only putting one staple in is in case if we have to make any adjustments, we'll only have to take out one staple. instead of 20. And pull on this one. See how those wrinkles came out? Now we got to check our work, make sure everything went straight, no wrinkles. Remember that. Check your work. Always check your work. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to flip it over. We'll start stapling the backside. So a heat gun will always come in handy when you're trying to go around corners, because what it does is it'll soften up the vinyl for you. So what a lot of people do is they'll wrap this up like a package, just the way it was when I took it apart. They'll do one side like that, and then they'll do another side like that and make it look like a Christmas package or something. Then you end up with that kind of a corner. But the type of corner that I seem to be using a lot, I don't know how many people are doing it this way, but works for me. Get it warmed up. You might try this too. Maybe this is helpful to you. So what I really do is I pull the corner first. Pull the corner like that. Then I pull this corner. Then I pull this corner. Now you see that? Look at that. I hope you can see that, because this is kind of important. There's no seam here at all. There's not one. Okay, maybe we learned something new today. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to all four corners and then fill in the middle. Now basically what I do is I get rid of the bulk by cutting it out. Don't need that. Really now the next easy thing is to take something like this right here. You've probably seen these around before. Just take this here. They had the screws before. We have the holes there. So we're just going to poke the holes through the vinyl. Then we know where to put the screws back in. Same place they were before. Right? No guessing. So the other trick that's very important, I almost forgot, is when you make your hole, you don't put the hole where the two pieces of thread intersect, because you know what's going to happen? You're going to cut the thread, then the thread's going to unravel. So what you do is you go slightly to the side of the thread. So you want to totally miss the thread. You see that there, how the hole is in that little quadrant right there, the corner of the quadrant. It's not on the thread. Don't make that mistake. Now that we know where the holes are. Lastly, we're going to remove the white china marker with that. The customer has the buttons. Other than that, ta-da! So anyway, like I was saying,